Let's go to Adelaide now and catch up with the former Foreign Minister Alexander Downer, who was part of that government that established the Future Fund. Thanks for joining us, Alexander. Are you worried about what Labor is going to do with that fund?
I think it's a shocking thing. This reminds me, Chalmers reminds me of Jim Cairns and the Whitlam government. They seem to be obsessed, completely obsessed with spending money and finding money wherever they can. And here, as you quite rightly said in your comments just a moment ago, money that has been set aside and wisely invested in assets that generate a good return, and now they want to divert those investments, I mean, by definition, into assets that won't generate such a good return. And so we'll all pay the price for it. I mean, they want to put more money into renewables. Renewables are already heavily subsidised. That is not going to maximise the profits and the returns of the Future Fund. And it's the same with social housing and, well, I mean, what sort of infrastructure projects are they going to direct money into? If these projects were profitable, then the private sector would already be investing in them.
Precisely.
So, I mean, they're going to invest in things that won't yield a return. I mean, I think it's absolutely disgraceful. And I think that, the coalition should make a really major issue of this at the next election. This is precisely the sort of mindset that the Whitlam government had all those decades ago, which very close to destroyed the Australian economy. These people are vandals.
It is extraordinary. Peter Costello, the former Treasurer and then, of course, former Future Fund Chairman, has been quoted in The Australian this afternoon. So this is the latest reaction from Peter Costello. He says, "This is a very bad proposal. I do not say this out of partisanship. I say this because the Future Fund, and I introduced the legislation in 2005, was never set up to be a political slush fund to finance the whims of the government of the day." And that can be the only excuse for doing this, Alexander. As you say, if you're picking the best projects, well, independently it's going to pick those anyway because of the long-term returns. If you're having to interfere and steer them in the direction of your hobby horses, you are using it as a political slush fund.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly a political slush fund because their plan is to divert resources away from areas which would generate high returns into areas that are not so profitable or would generate negative returns. And so the consequence of this is that gradually they'll start running down the Future Fund. It is completely contrary to the vision of the Howard government, where money had been saved. I mean, dare I tell viewers, we ran budget surpluses, we paid off all government debt, we privatised Telstra and so on. We put our savings, or many of our savings, into this Future Fund. It's been very cautiously and very successfully managed since. It's a real safety net for the country. And Chalmers and Albanese just want to rate it for their pet projects. I mean, whatever you think about the projects, by definition, these are not projects which are going to yield a substantial return. Otherwise, investment would already be going into them.
Yeah, it's bad enough we haven't had good governments since the Howard Costello years. It's even worse that we got new governments looking to tear down some of the bounty they left us. A real worry. Thanks for joining us, Alexander. I appreciate it.